during his post-election debacle press conference, President Obama, he wanted to reassure you, the American people, that even though his policies were repudiated on the ballot on Election Day, that we should still be thanking him for saving us from the brink of economic disaster. He's still on that talking point. Watch this.
This country's made real progress since the crisis 6 years ago. The fact is, more Americans are working. Unemployment has come down. More Americans have health insurance. Manufacturing has grown. Our deficits have shrunk. Our dependence on foreign oil is down, as are gas prices. Our graduation rates are up. Our businesses aren't just creating jobs at the fastest pace since the 1990s. Our economy is outpacing most of the world.
All right, joining me now tonight at the Hannity Big Board to give President Obama a badly needed lesson in economics. He is the host of Making Money. He's on our sister network, the Fox Business Network. Our friend, Charles Payne. How are you, my friend?
I'm great.
Good to see you. All right, let's go here. Let's start with, if we can, he just said our deficits are going down. All right, he said $9 trillion in debt. That's irresponsible. That's unpatriotic. Well, it's now 17.
And counting. We're going to hit 18 trillion real soon. I think what he meant is that the rate of the deficit is going down. I mean, listen, it's another one of these game words, but listen, we can see the numbers pretty plainly here. Outrageous. We don't know where the tipping point is, Sean. That's just the problem with this, but it's unsustainable.
There is a real chance, by the time he leaves office, he will have accumulated more debt than every other president before him combined. So, but yet he says this to the American people, oh, my policies are fine, everything's fine. Not true, is it?
It's not true. I mean, it's obvious, and people know this. You know why this resonates a lot with people watching this show? Because everyone watching this show had to pare down their household debt. Most of them the hard way. Lost a house, lost a job, lost a car.
Let's go through these numbers.
Okay.
Median household income, if we start in 2009, as he took office, it was $55,871. Right. It's down, but more importantly, things are costing more.
It's almost down $2,000. This is what resonates more than anything else with the American public. People know what's happening with them now. There's this odd backdoor prosperity where gasoline prices go down. So after your check, you have more money to spend, but you didn't get a bigger check. We know this. People understand this. So sometimes you'll say, hey, why are Macy's earnings going up? Well, you have more cash because you didn't buy the gas station.
Well, for the people out there, a lot of people, the 50 million Americans almost that are in poverty on food stamps, they are not benefiting from the stock market. Let's take the number of people on supplemental food stamps, in other words. We'll take a look at what they have. If you look at the number of Americans on food stamps, look at this. It was 31 million when he took office. 46 million Americans today on food stamps. That is not, by any definition, success or a recovery.
No, there's one word you cannot associate with this, and that's prosperity. That's recovery is another good word you cannot use with this. I mean, it's actually a heartbreaking thing. And here's the thing, Sean. The deeper and longer people get involved in these programs, you know, it's harder sometimes to get off of them.
No.
And that's a fact. I mean, people get upset when you say that. It has nothing to do with anyone's race, religion. Around the world, there are all kinds of people around the world who want their own countries within a country because of that stuff.
All right, so the president, during this election, we saw a lot of appeals and the use of the race card, okay? 90+% of Americans in 2008 and 12 voted in huge numbers for the president. Some 90+%. Look at this. 2008, number of black Americans on food stamps, 6 million. Look at this, 270,000. You got 10 million.
Let's call it 11 million.
That's 11 million.
Yeah,
nearly a doubling.
Yeah.
And yet he's still trying to appeal to all those evil, rascally Republicans.
Yeah.
They can do better than this.
They can. You know what? It's just like voting for someone who wants to give you higher minimum wage. That's what you think of me. You think I'm only good for the minimum wage, but because you're so nice, you'll make it higher for me. I think it's going to start falling on deaf ears. I read where Scott Walker, his black vote doubled from 5 to 10%. I really believe Americans, all Americans, don't think they deserve to be on food stamps.
The next most important question. We're going to show you the labor participation right here, but you got to keep this in mind. When you hear about lower unemployment numbers, remember this. Lower unemployment numbers are fine. We want lower, but they don't count people that are chronically unemployed. This number here is the lowest number since 1978, the labor participation. Now, it may not seem like a big decrease. How important is 3 points down in the labor participation?
We're talking, I think it's around 9, 10, 11 million, in that area. We're talking almost 10 million people who actually gave up on the American
Not participating.
Dream. They're not participating.
They can't get jobs, they gave up.
They gave up completely, so they're not in it, so mathematically they're not counted, and it makes the number look better, but once again, in real life on Main Street, people
Now,
know the honest
We
truth.
always talk demographics and elections. Let's break this statistic down demographically. Here you have women, Hispanics, Black Americans. Women, 2009, they went down 3 points. Hispanics, they went down 2 points rather. Black Americans, they went down 2 points. So it's across the board. These are the demographics that the Democratic Party always appeals to. War on women.
Right.
Republicans don't like Hispanics because they want to secure the borders. Republicans are racist. You hear that every election year. But are they better off, these demographic groups, are they better off under President
Not
Obama?
only they're not better off, if you looked at the teen participation rates, we're starting to get into that area that sparked the Arab Spring. I mean, it's really pathetic. It's really heartbreaking.
All right, let's look at Americans living in poverty. There you go. More Americans living in poverty. And I actually disagree with this number in this sense. I think you got to count those numbers of people that are living on food stamps. And then you have 45 million American households that are suffering to feed their families every month. Those are real people. 50 million of them, real people, real numbers, real suffering.
Real suffering and real hopelessness. You know, this gets back into dropping out of the job market, thinking, you know, a large part of any economic plan that's going to be successful, we've got to buy into it. It's got to be self-fulfilling. People have given up, and that's why we saw what we saw.
Our last number that we have here, we got the poverty rate now increasing among women. Just slight increase among Hispanics and a 3% increase in Black Americans. Last thing I'm going to put up here is home ownership rates. If you look at this right here, you see in 2008, 67, another big drop. One other thing, the average annual premium for health insurance, if you look at 2008, it's 12,000, well, I had the number 12,680.
Well, this is 2009.
Oh, okay,
so
2008.
yeah.
In 2008, 12,000. Now it is 16,000, and we're getting the new rate increase in the next week.
And people should understand that the reason they haven't even ballooned more, insurance companies are buffered the first couple of years by taxpayer dollars. When that goes away, these numbers are going to look puny.
All right, Charles Payne,
You got it.
economic wizard. Thank you, my
Thank
friend. All right, and by the way, don't miss Charles on the Fox Business Network. And if you're not sure where to find it in your area, just log on to foxbusiness.com.